on this. Yeah, so I've just done that. So it's all been recorded.
So what I'll do, I will text him now then, because it's 11 a.m.
Yeah.
The interview time. Then you've got one at 12 with Record Collector as well.
Okay.
And I'll send you all the links over.
I've got that page open now. Where is it? Where's not page open? I've got the your page that you sent. So there's all I need to do is just jump into that. And then we can go through all the rest of the things I've got on my list here in front of me.
I'm going to Excel now because I'm here with the Americans, the tech company, with this event tech organization at the moment now, and I'm not going to be back to about 2 o'clock this afternoon, so we can pick up. Your last one's at 2 o'clock, isn't it? So maybe
yeah. I had all. Oh my goodness! Besides, in the Skegness situation, and then France, and what else? The other thing. I mean, we'll talk about that all of them. As you saw, I sent an email to the V&A because I thought, I'm thinking February's going to be here before you know it, and if we haven't done anything, and they were the ones who are supposed to book a date for us to do, this. Yeah, exactly.
I saw that this morning. They're so slow. They just rocket up their backside. They really do.
Oh my God.
They get any work done. They're looking over their museums. It's like,
I know, it's like mad. And I mean, and then this friend of ours, Carl, introduced me to this other guy who could possibly help with this with the center getting what they need, and all that. And then also I spoke to Niall regarding the Christmas track, and he sent me a link. So I said I need to see something with what you're doing, to have an idea. So he just sent me downloadbiz.com. So he said he needs a bit of updating. Things go on Amazon, Spotify.
We just need to make sure they're on all the right platforms.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, I mean,
before you make any decisions on going with anyone,
I know.
You'll get lost in the stratosphere.
I'm going to send you what he sent me so you can see. Because for me, as a Christmas song, it's like a throwaway. It can always come out any year, whatever. But I'm just looking at.
It gives people something to cling on to, doesn't it? Just in terms
for this. Yeah, because what's his name? Oh, this is what I need to gossip very quickly. I was going to tell you was that. Hold on, let me put this on stop video. Yeah, basically, what his name? I can. Yeah, I'm recording it now, but for you to see, you should be able to see yourself.
No, I can only see you.
No, if you can see me, then you should be able to see yourself, definitely.
Right, hold on.
Without
right, okay. This meeting's being recorded by the host or a participant, so you're recording it, but do you want to still record it, or can I? Because I don't think we can at the same.
Hold on, let me see if this works. I'm showing you. I'm trying to see you, but you have to turn something on. Hide non-video. Hide view. No, you should be there. You should be able to see yourself. Are you on your phone or are you on a computer?
I'm on my Mac.
Yeah, there you are. Hey, what did you do?
I pressed something to do with video. It's now saying stop video.
Okay, there you go.
I'm happy not seeing myself. I'm not that vain.
You look great, baby. You look absolutely great.
Thank you. As do you. You're looking very healthy.
I'm trying. I like the swimming pool.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm in Nice, and in fact, if I turn around quickly,
oh, beautiful.
I'm right by the Med on the Promenade des Anglais.
Oh, with your Studio 54 t-shirt. Look at you.
Oh, well spotted. Yeah.
Well, I'm in Paris next week. I'm in Paris. I was in Lille last week because I was doing a press conference last Thursday because I'm doing a little tour in February with the band. Although Casino Barriers, they're very welcome, the whole family. So we're doing some special shows, very special shows for them, which is going to be quite a lot of fun.
Excellent.
we had a big press conference, and they really looked after me. It was great. It was really, really cool. So
Good.
there's a lot.
Brilliant cause. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. So, so just one thing then on the record thing. Do you want to record the whole thing for yourself? And if so, can you share that with me, or can we swap
I'm recording it so I can send it to you after.
Ah, okay, great.
If you want to record it, you can.
Can we? Yeah, I don't know if we can do it at the same time. Let me have a look. Please ask the host to give you permission to record, it says. So
Yeah.
how would you do that?
So basically, I think what you do is, hold on a second. Where's the invite? I've invited you in copy link invite chat. Yeah, you should be able to. I mean, basically, we're recording now. Hold on, let's just check. That's this on, yeah.
Yeah.
Recording. So I can send it to you when we're finished anyway. I can send it to you.
All right. Well, I tell you what, just in case, just because it's probably a good idea to have a backup. If I record from my phone,
you should be able to
just the audio
at the bottom of your screen on your Mac. Have something that says record or go to more.
Yeah, but when I press that, it says I have to ask you, the host, to give me permission. So you need to do something in settings to give that participant permission, and I don't know how you do that.
Okay, so stop recording, pause recording, speaker gallery, immersive. What's immersive? Choose background. Okay. They've added so many new things to this that hide non-video participant, hide self. Nope. Pause apps. Send on the apps. Discover all. Nope. There's a whole heap of new things here.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, just it's gonna I've got just the Zoom, which I believe it's free for 40-minute videos at a time.
No,
so
I've got because I was the one that Zoomed you, so mine goes on for as long as I want it to.
Ah, right, okay. But so
I've only got till 12 o'clock. Not 12,
okay, right. So we better get cracking here. So we've got 50 minutes, and so you can send me a 50-minute video, no trouble. No problem. Okay, fantastic. All right, right. Brilliant. Well, let's get cracking then. So anyway, so you are where do we find you today?
At home in my studio.
in London, North London?
London, yeah, North London, yeah.
Yeah, the reason I ask is that we met very briefly when I lived in Golders Green at the time, so I can date it to when I moved to South London. So probably late noughties, we bumped into each other Christmas shopping at Brent Cross.
Oh, okay, yeah, that sounds like me. Yes.
Yeah, you were yes, and resplendent in a long overcoat, I remember, and it probably was around this time of year.
Yeah. What did you say?
It was something to do with Christmas shopping or something like that.
Okay, it must have been in oh my God, Phoenix or something like that.
Yeah, Phoenix was the big department store there, wasn't it?
It's still there.
It's still there.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Still there. Okay. Yeah, I go there quite a lot, you know.
Right. So yeah, I lived in West Hampstead, Golders Green for many years.
Why did you move?
Bought a house in cheaper South London.
Okay.
And then I left Britain 2014.
Oh, why?
First Australia and then France.
Oh, why did you do the drastic change from one to the next?
Oh, well, I love Oz, but it was just too far from everything, you know. Yeah. I wasn't getting to see and also a lot of have you played much in Oz? Because a lot of acts just think it's too far to go and tour. basically.
Yeah, we've not gone out there. I've gone as Far East.
There you go.
Yeah, Middle East and Bali and stuff like that, and which I love, but I haven't been to Australia. But actually there is a promoter who's trying to get us out there now.
Right.
He was trying to get us there pre-lockdown, even during the lockdown, but things were going crazy. So in actual fact, we have to contact him again. But I've gone to Africa many, many times, South Africa, Angola, Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah.
I'm also a SOS patron. So while I'm touring, I then lend my services to the children's villages and raise up profile. So Cote d'Ivoire, Zambia, Tunisia, Algeria, Nigeria I've been to. I did the Fela Kuti Felathon celebration, which was madness. And just before the lockdown, we did Mozambique, which was a really big thing. So I've done a lot of that. It's interesting that how far the music can take you, and how long it can take you away. And you can be doing things like I've been doing, different projects in different countries and different territories, which have nothing to do with the UK. It's the UK is into I'm a celebrity and mad television reality shows, and I'm on another level. You know, I've got my jazz quartet or doing something with another artist on another platform. So, you know, my life has been very, very different from what people UK wise would think.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned reality shows, and I mean that's a good point, because if we cast our minds back, you know, just over 40 years now, you know, when Imagination started, you know, you started at a similar time to people like Wham, Culture Club, Duran Duran, Soft Cell, all those people. I mean, Soft Cell have made a comeback. Duran Duran are still going, of sorts. But of course, we've lost George Michael, we've lost Prince, Bowie, Michael Jackson, of course. The only sort of who's always been a solo artist from that era that's still going in a way is Madonna. But
there's a few others. I mean, Madonna recently's gone through a few, as my song changes. She's definitely going through some changes.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly.
Yeah, and I don't like what I see on YouTube and what she's, you know, she's like. I mean, we all like to go out to a club now and then, but it whatever she's doing, it doesn't appeal to me. I turn to the page and move on. But there are some like Paul Young, he's out there. Tony Hadley from Spandau Ballet, he's out there. British black acts is few and far between. There are some out there, but they're not on the international level as myself as much.
Yes. Well, what else do you do other than recording and touring and your charity work? What else do you do to keep busy? You wouldn't go down the Boy George jungle celebrity route then?
There's no need for me, because you know I've done 3 documentaries for SOS Children, one in Tunisia, one in Zambia, one in South Africa. I've been working on another documentary called Flashback: The History of UK British Black Music for the last 10 years. I'm still finishing it. We've got it to a level. We nearly got it sold, and the deal that the other company was trying to do, you know, take from us. You know, my lawyer said, you know, and Archie, the management, was just saying that you can't do that. You spend so much time on it. So I spent a lot of my time working on that. I've done another documentary, Police and Thieves, about the community. These are local people, an ex-gang member, policeman, a good friend of mine, and their contributions to society when things weren't that good, but how they, you know, strive. There's a friend of mine, Angie Greaves, DJ. There's another family, young family, that basically they came from Jamaica, and the whole family's involved in this hair salon, and the hair salon really is more than just that. It's a hub of the community, but then they've expanded to have a flower shop. And people needed to know about getting vaccinations and you know, sickle cell anemia problems and all different issues. They're very much for that. So I give these short stories. So I did that. And I recently finished one a few weeks ago, which I started in 2019, about St. Lucia, a 30-minute documentary on that. And So that we're still waiting to hear back from. It's supposed to go on the airlines and stuff like that. But the previous one has been going for education. So that's been, a lot of people are taking it and using it for the youths to see adults who have really been, how they've survived in very hard conditions, maintained, especially maybe for racial reasons or what have you. So that's one of the things I've been doing. I've been writing a hell of a lot. I have a track with George Vasillo, which is called Solitude. We did the video during the lockdown. I produced mine here, then he did his, then I had to produce that. I've also done a whole smooth jazz album coming out later on next year with Bill Sharp from Shack Attack.
Oh, yes.
Which is really, really cool. I've got a track called Gotta Get Over You with Rob Scott, which we've done this year. Was it last year, I think? Or I think a combination of the two, which is going to be on Ramrock, a completely different sort of track. I've just done a track with Billy Obama, who's very big it was known in France. He's known for working with Serge Gainsbourg. That's his claim to fame, but he has sort of African roots sort of feels. We've done a track called Music, which is has a very ethnic sort of feel to it. And I did a mix here and took it to him last week. And actually, when I get to Paris next week, I'll have a listen to the final master. No, I've heard the final master. It's very good. It's very, very good.
Excellent. And, well, talking of French speakers, I have to say, I really enjoyed your track with Plastic Bertrand.
Don't Stop the World from Turning.
Yeah, which of course, lyrically, I mean, it's very uplifting and exactly what we need at this time, of course. But on paper, it seems such a wacky left field collaboration. How did that come about?
Well, I've done many shows with Plastic over the years. We were doing these big 80s tours in Europe, and it was fun. And we were doing this show on a boat about 3-4 years ago. And his producer was saying, producer writer was saying, oh, it'd be great for you to do something together. So we had time to kill on the boat. So they were throwing around a few different ideas. I took one idea away with me. And there was so much, as a precursor to what we have now, it was starting to build up. And I just thought, if we rely, and there was a Trump thing going on, that's right as well. That was it. I'm thinking, don't stop the world from turning, because these people are going to try and stop you, And then also I found that because people are having mental stress and there's a lot of different things going on, I thought, let me encompass this into a song and make it uplifting. And then I got Dario Cadaminta from Italy to do a mix of it, and which he did a great mix. And it has the essence of the 70s and the 80s and the 90s in the music feel of it.
Yes.
And to have a feel-good track, really. And it's been, I think, on about 36 different radio stations over in France and Belgium, and all, they're still playing it. It was number 5 in the one of the charts over here, and it's been in all different charts. And then prior to that, just before that came out, I had another track with Victor Simonelli, Feels So Good. Feels So Good. All the dance DJs been playing it. There's about 20 different mixes. And it was like, from the end of last year into this year, everybody's been playing Feels So Good. So I've had the DJ thing going on, the plastic side going on, reggae side. I think Police and Thieves, the actual original, I did a version with Dinesh Bavel.
Yes.
And I'm probably doing another track with him. And the track I've got with George Vasillo is called Solitude, which is going to be coming out next year. And that's half Latin, half English. So he's singing in Latin.
Wow. Interesting.
And we've got some fantastic mixes of it. It's the original mix is very, which I'm hearing the master next week. It's has a kind of Gilberto Gil sort of feel to it. But then we've done a kind of contemporary mix of it as well. So, it's actually, I may have it. Yeah, a tiny touch of it. Let's see.
Oh, lovely. Lovely little preview.
Let me see. Let's see. Solitude Senza Voce. Is this it? Was it? No, I'm not sure this is it. Hold on 1 second. We will get maybe it's this.
I like it. Yeah. I see. I see you have the Gorillaz record behind you.
Yes. Oh, yes. The album.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's.
So yeah, no. Thank you for playing that. That was lovely. But it's curious how I mean, Gorillaz is a great example. How there's a trend these days for putting really disparate and really different kind of artists and vocalists together and making something totally unique.
It's been like that for a while. It's not. I don't think it's anything new. It's been, if you check in the '80s, what's his name, Paul Young and Sansa Madonna. These people
Good point. Yeah.
for a long time. I mean,
Yeah.
Sasha Distel was coming over here and doing it. It's always been done. It's just the fact that some people only have a narrowness about some certain relative people have this narrowness about how they see me. They think I'm just a walking, talking imagination doll.
Mm-hmm.
And that, but I've moved so far away from where I was that I don't even, I mean, to the point where I recorded my whole jazz album, Feel My Soul, was done in Rochefort, near La Rochelle.
Oh, lovely.
And I had great acclaim for that. And even now, people are discovering it consistently.
Yes.
So where I am in my own self-being and stuff, I'm nowhere near where, if you come at me with something from yesteryear, I have no reference. I remember the time, I know what was happening, I know but I'm not in that place. It's a wonderful thing. I learned from it. It was a great experience. But and I'll always sing the songs because I wrote the songs. So, I'm happy that people still love the music, and we can celebrate the 40th anniversary box set, which is coming out in February, 17 albums. So it's a great celebration.
Did you how was that to go back? Did you get very involved in the collation of that?
I collated the whole thing.
Right.
So 17 albums. I spent time last year. I previously knew we were going to do it. So I'm a very much firstminute.com sort of person. So I tend to pre-plan things. So therefore, I put things aside and say, okay, going to do this. So I don't have to do a last minute rush. I hate that. I hate that. So I basically went through certain tracks and I thought, and there were things that fans were always saying they'd heard about. There's a track called The Key, which was supposed to be a title of an album and it never came out. And it was a great track, but it was very different. It had a kind of a Jam and Lewis sort of production on it. And I loved it. It was really, and it was edgy, and I love edgy stuff. But it didn't have the silky piano or the bass line that people would know in the field. So, that was the issue. So people were like, oh, will it go with that? You need something a bit more commercial, whatever. So it never came out. But on this box set, the beauty of it, there's songs that, for example, things, I think it was So Good, So Right was another song. And we were just demoing. And we did that many times where There's one track which was I think it was New Dimension, was it? I think it was New Dimension. It was called In a Man's World. So you were going to hear that original version.
Mm.
Then it did not go with the lyric. Something did not happen, you know.
If I remember rightly, New Dimension, in some countries it was called Scandalous. Is that right?
The album was called Scandalous in the UK, but in America and imported some places it was called New Dimension.
New Dimension.
Yeah,
because they right, okay, the Americans.
Yeah, it was a big record, so they wanted it. But actually, State of Love was very big in America.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was very electro. You know, it had that. It had that electro. You know, had that kind of electro feel to it. But we were very lucky because we had hits in different territories. It was the days when you had 4 or 5 hit singles in one year, not like now. So, like in the first album did amazing. Body Talk was a hit, In and Out of Love was a hit, Flashback was a hit. In Canada, I think Tell Me Don't Want My Love was a #1, but it was also a hit in Italy because people, if you didn't do it, people would say, oh my God, this record. So Good, So Right was a hit, Burning Up was it, all from the one album. So I thought that was it. I thought, we are not going to surpass this. And there was a ballad, Don't Look Back, which became a classic in itself where, people who bought the album discovered that song, and it was going to be a single. And I recorded that song the same time I did Flashback, but then everybody was saying, oh, Don't Look Back, this is going to be the hit, whatever. And then the next evening, I think I recorded the rest of Flashback. And so and then those days, as soon as you recorded the track, everybody wanted a rough mix of it to take to radio to say, this is going to be it. And so there's some small acetates of Don't Look Back, which was going to be the single. Then all of a sudden, they heard, well, what's the other track? You've got Flashback. Oh my God. And so then everything changed. And then Flashback became the other big hit. So
so no Time for Tears, hint hint, but do you remember what the song was that kept Flashback from #1?
No, that wasn't Flashback. That was Just an Illusion.
Oh, Just an Illusion. Sorry.
Didn't do your homework.
Pardon me. I remember it was the one-hit wonders from
Germany. Dance Band.
Yes.
They were the thorn in my side. People want to mention it as a dig because I even asked someone on radio, I said, who the hell bought the Goombay Dance Band? And 40 years later, you have the wonderful, I don't know if you've seen it, Men versus Bees, and you've got Mr. Bean singing in the shower to Just an Illusion. We've had maybe 15, 20 million hits on Netflix. The last months. Yeah. It's in the film. Okay. Illusion's been used by so many people. Mariah Carey did it, and Can I Get Your Number?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Charles' first album, Wyclef Jean used Illusion.
Yes.
Kanye West, I think, did one, and also Jay-Z. There's been loads, and not just Illusion, but So Good, So Right, and obscure tracks as well that we had on the other albums, on Scandalous. When I See Fire, I think was used. Loads. And recently, my own track, The Mighty Power of Love, which was like a big Billboard dance hits, #2.
Yes.
Power, 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 power. Dun, dun, dun. That's used a lot. So
yes.
I'm glad I own it.
Which brings me to my next question. Do you plan on following other artists, like Springsteen has done it, Blondie, Bob Dylan, in selling your entire catalogue to a company?
I haven't thought about it. I'm collating a lot of my stuff because I did stuff, especially in the 90s. I did stuff with Club 69. I had big records called It Gets Much Better, Sugar Pie Guy, and obviously the song was quite a lot of stuff with Arthur Baker, and very widespread. And so I haven't even thought about that at this point in time. I'm just busy. I've got the train leaving the station and I'm on it, and having fun with it. And that's the best thing. But I'm doing creative stuff, artistically creative stuff. So visually, for example, I did a song in March, which I completely forgot about. and this Belgian producer loves it and wants to put it on as a sync, you know, and I forgot all about it, you know. So that's the wonder of music and discovering different things with it.
Yes. And I mean, considering, you know, that your wide range of collaborators and genres that you've delved into, who would you say has been your most influential person that you've worked with?
Oh gosh, there's so many. I mean, starting with I call Tony Swain my producer. There was Steve and Tony, but Steve was more for the writing with us and melodies. Though I was, you couldn't write an imagination out unless I was there, because I was really, you know, I'd have the storytelling going on and the whole visual. But Tony technically was very good. I call him a silent genius, because he was the one that thought of the bass line and the ideas on that. And then we'd come in and I said, like this. And he didn't push us aside like some people do, like, you know, like your marionettes. He was very much wanting to hear our opinions. Like Illusion, the ending was the beginning, became the beginning. But I couldn't record any, there was no space on the tape. And I said, I want to have this bit at the beginning. You know, there was things like that. And I'd like a phaser sort of sound. And he'd listen, you know, to the idea. Or Flashback, I didn't want any music behind me at the beginning where I'm singing, starting it now on our way. That I wanted it by myself. And, you know, everyone was like worried, how are you going to keep in time? Because, you know, and then coming with the Flashback, how are you going to keep it? And in those days, technically, you had tape. It wasn't like nowadays on computer and samples. It was very, very free that. So there was a lot of that. But going back to influences, I was influenced by Motown, by jazz, by funk, by reggae. You know, I have days when, you know, I'm listening to Nancy Wilson. Next minute, I'm listening to Motown and Diana Ross and Supremes and Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder all in one, you know, dish with Jackson 5. And then next thing I'm listening to Eddie Kendricks, who I love a lot, very, very much so. And or I'm listening to Parliament or the whole funk movement. You know, it's really weird because I came from a family that we always listened to music. We listened to calypso, we listened to ska, we listened to reggae. The dub side of, I used to love all the dub style, you know, but I love, you know, the harmonies of different groups, you know, the Shy Lights and the Delphonics, who I worked with briefly. And
you were doing backups, right? Is that how you started?
I was doing backups as part of like a corporate band, and all the American artists would come over, and I was the resident singer. I'd do that with them for a short period of time, and it would be the chairman of the board or the Delphonics or the Velvets, or it was very funny. So we'd have to fake American accents, you know, like, hey, you know, and we go to all the places and doing that. And I was still in my late teens or mid-teens.
With interesting parallels with how Luther Vandross started.
Kind of. I mean, you know, I've got a Luther Vandross story, which I say to people that when I went to see him at the Dominion Theatre in the 80s, I went over, I was invited over and said, this is Luther Vandross. That was Leee John, you know. Leee John said, that name sounds familiar from The Good Imagination. This is to Luther. One of the backing singers came and introduced me, and Luther started to sing to me, Just an Illusion, to me. And I was like, oh my God, you know, just sing my song, you know. So I've had some many, many magical moments.
Yes.
And, you know, and Luther, yes, Luther did do a lot of backgrounds on a lot of different people. I was doing it in my own way. I was acting, I was doing musicals, I was doing, but writing a lot as well. I was writing.
Yes. Well, you've done film, and you've also done TV like Doctor Who, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
How was that?
It was a great experience. I mean, it's so long ago, but it was. It's great. You know, it seems the things I tend to do always seem to have a historical value to it. It's like doing the Gorillas recently, where I played the part of Poseidon, and I'm in the sea and coming up as a sea creature. That's a visual that's going to be quite historical as well. I can see it. You know, it's going to, you know, 5 years from now or 10 years from now, people can say, oh yeah, you played that. You know, it's like Doctor Who. It's like that. But I find there's always these very iconic moments in my life, and there's still more to happen, you know. Which is fun and exciting.
Going back to Imagination, then of course, I mean, you look at the chronology now, and Imagination really did put Swain and Jolly on the map, didn't they?
I would say totally. I'd say totally. I mean, if it wasn't for me writing Body Talk and the melody, which I was debating with one of our executives the other day, he was talking about, oh, someone had an idea for it, and da da da. I said they may have an idea, but they didn't write the actual song.
Yes,
that's the difference. You know, you could have had an idea, but was it Body Talk? No, it wasn't morning, afternoon, and night. So for me, that was what I wrote on my mom's kitchen table. And I was always very proud of the fact that I wrote the lyrics and the melody to Body Talk, you know, and Steve had a rough cassette of the idea. So that did put Swain and Jolly on the map. And as soon as Body Talk blew up, everybody wanted to come to the studio, like Spandau Ballet, Alison Moyet, Bananarama. They all wanted to use Swain and Jolly because they wanted that sound, not just the sound of the musical sound, but they wanted the sound that we had vocally, what we were doing.
I have to ask you, you know, going back to the 80s, of course, when Smash Hits was, you know, the really big pop magazine of the day. Were you ever interviewed by Neil Tennant?
I can't remember at that point in time whether I was interviewed by Neil Tennant at all, because so much was going on so quick, so fast. We were out of the country. I don't know.
The reason I ask is that of course Neil Tennant and Smash Hits was not visually not quite the same Neil Tennant of later of the Pet Shop Boys, but they whenever they're asked about their formation, they just bumped into each other randomly in a record shop in the King's Road. They always tell the story of how they talked about the music that they were into at the time. Chris Lowe really loved Body Talk. And Neil Tennant was the bespectacled, sort of folky would-be singer-songwriter that liked Elvis Costello and Bowie and Dylan and people like that. And when Chris told him how much he liked Body Talk, Neil says he was quite appalled. But the influence, you know, obviously permeated through into their own career, and they ended up doing dance pop, you know. So again, you had an influence there subliminally.
Well, they have come to our shows. I've seen them at the shows,
right?
Because my management was talking to them one time when they came to the show. So I definitely know there was influence. I think what it wasn't so much just the electronics. There were different types of things. We had a funk, soul, dance, slow dance, and jazz feel in the elements of the music. But then what some people would do is they would take the same sounds and create more of an electronic sound. So it's a little bit more robotic and more pulse based, but it wasn't as soulful because they would interpret it a lot differently, which made it more electronic. So that was the difference. And you know, we had loads of harmonies and things that we did, which on their records it would be more unison, and you know, so it was a lot different on that level. But it was a creative period in the 80s because technology was changing and moving, and we were there at the very helm of it.
And do you think that, you know, because it was such a experimental and innovative time, do you think that in 40 years we'll still be talking about the big pop stars of 2022?
Oh my goodness. To be honest with you, nowadays it's very hard to grasp who is who. It's very, very, very hard.
Very samey.
Yeah, I talked about some people, like, for example, I was very privileged to be very good friends with Mary Wilson of the Supremes, you know, and it was because I had a chat show in the late 80s, and I interviewed her, I interviewed Ray Parker Jr., I interviewed so many different people. I became really great friends with them. It's called Lee's Place. And I think you can see some episodes on YouTube. But it was a really vibrant period. And you knew people because you'd read the back of an album and you see who sang this, who played this. You know, you had your organic sense of knowing that person produced it. they did this to it, you know, the graphics, everything. But nowadays, it's not the same. You know, you go online, you don't know who's done what. You know, it could be a sample that someone just done and chopped it up and made it sound, you know, great for them technically. But
and of course, all the auto tune type technology has made so many vocalists just sound indistinguishable.
Yeah, all the same.
Yeah,
computer games. So that is one of the issues.
Yeah. When you look back on you know, your over 40-year career, is there something that stands out that you would have done differently if you had your time again?
Oh my goodness. I mean, there's a song that says, I wouldn't change a thing if I had to live my life all over. But I don't know, you know, I mean, you know, I when I go back past the 40 years because I was signed to a label when I was in my teens at EMI, and I was part of a duo. And we had Gonzalez, who had Hadn't Stopped Dancing Yet. That was a big hit. And we had
of course, yeah.
Under Thighs with the backing vocalists who were on Lou Reed's Walk on the Wild Side. They're doing backing vocals for us. We were in Mayfair Studios. I was still at school. And this was a bomb for me. I thought, oh my God, you know, wow, you know, going to be big superstars and what have you. And subsequently, I needed to learn a lot more about my trade. I need to know a lot more about the work process. I need to know about studios, about, you know, recordings and being an artist, you know, and that was always my main goal. And, you know, did some acting with theater and different things like this and what have you. I did a stint in the Chinese Detective TV program, and it was on the same week that we did Body Talk on Top of the Pops.
Really?
Yeah, that's the thing people don't actually remember, but I remember that one. That's
David Gibb.
Yeah, that's it. And actually, that's a good question to use as a you know,
trivia.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like but you know, I had very, very good times, and but I was kind of prepared because I've been doing gigs in bingo halls and pubs and all over the place. So I was sort of prepared, ready. You know, we didn't have the money at the time, you know, for the preparation, but the moment the money came in for us to become what you then saw,
yes,
mentally, I think I was ready for, you know, that trip, because it was a lot of hard work, a lot of promotion. I remember we'd be in a little Citroen car, myself, Errol and Ashley, in France or in Spain or Belgium or Italy, and we go to all these radio stations, and sometimes we'd have to perform. You know, we were performing tracks from the album which we'd just recorded, and it wasn't easy. But we were told, if you do this promotion, then a year from now, people will still remember you. 5 years from now, they'll still remember you.
Yeah.
Out there to do it. And when we did our videos, that was another thing I remember. They said, the record company said, if you go out there, they'll remember you a lot more than if you didn't go, because a lot of people were just sending their videos at the time.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, America was always pretty hard to crack unless you were prepared to put the hours in slogging around the country.
And it was a monetary thing, and they had a very class differentiation, not class, I think a racial class differentiation. Like they had you had the black charts, you had the dance charts, you had black radio. It was very, very divided. And so therefore there were some areas where they weren't playing black music, you know, or they say, oh, your dance music, you know. It was I remember we had a big record, #1, Instinctual, and it was somebody from the dance department who took it off our Closer album, and he loved the track. Arthur Baker produced it with Paul Gervais, I believe, and it wasn't our favorite track. And then David Morales came along, and it was during the summer, and most of the R&B black department had gone on holiday, and asked whether he could mix it. And so he mixed it, and it became #1 over the summer. When we went to America, in New York Central Park, everybody was doom, 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 doom. And it was a very innovative bass line that David Morales put down there. And he was singing, the only thing was we were singing in the same key all the way through, which wasn't very, very good. No, playing in the same key, sorry, the bass all the way through, which was very innovative at that time. After that, loads of records became, that was the theme. And David went on to mix Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, big artists, after Instinctual, because it was such a big record. So we've always had that situation happening. It's like the Mind, Body and Soul, 10 years later, 2000, 2000, I think it was, with the UK garage scene. You know, they're kids that come up to me and say, oh yeah, that was my record, you know, Mind, Body and Soul. I think, oh really? I was like, okay. You know, so it's interesting on the DJ front, you know.
Yes. Just going back to actually to pick up on something that you mentioned about videos, because of course you look back at the formation of Imagination was pretty much in sync with the start of MTV, wasn't it? I think 81.
Yeah.
So I've got just also going back to the smash hits thing. I thought it would be fun to just throw in a couple of slightly kind of comedic smash hits questions, if that's okay. If you had to live the rest of your life inside one of your music videos, which one would it be?
Maybe Body Talk, because I like heat, and but then again, I like swimming. I swim every day, so In and Out of Love,
yeah,
that was a good one with the water. Illusion, no, because it was in a haunted house and it was very cold. It was very cold when we were filming that.
Where was that filmed?
That was filmed where they did Hammer House of Horrors. I think one of those houses. It was they used it a lot in shooting. Very cold, and it was like in Surrey, somewhere in Surrey.
Okay. And so you mentioned St. Lucia, and of course, and I'm sure that's lovely and warm right now. That's where your parents are from.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. Another smash hits question. Does your mother play golf? That was one of their famous ones.
No, she doesn't play golf.
Okay. Do you know anyone called Tarquin?
No, I don't think I know anyone called Tarquin.
If you were married to Freddie Mercury, would you, of course, this is, doesn't apply now, of course, but this is the question. Would you let Freddie keep his moustache if you were married to him?
Oh my God. I don't try and stop him from not having it. I knew Freddie actually because a friend of mine called Peter Straker, who's an actor.
Yes.
And he
does a lot of theatre, doesn't he?
Yeah, and Freddie was a wonderful guy. What you see on the film is a characterization, not the person. That's not the person I met. I saw. It's like someone does a karaoke, and that's what I saw on the film, a karaoke person of, you know, I mean, recently I was portrayed in Small Axe series. I don't know if you saw it, Red, White and Blue.
Oh, really?
Yeah, John Boyega played Leroy Logan, my best mate, policeman. He wrote about his life, closing ranks, and I'm in the book, and I'm still in the film.
Oh, excellent.
And someone plays my mom. Tyrone Huntley plays me, because obviously he was my best mate. And they play So Good So Right in the scene, and the next minute we're in having dinner all together. And but you have to see it. It's the third episode of the Small Axe series, Red, White and Blue. So that was interesting, seeing myself being portrayed, but also seeing my mother being portrayed. That was an experience.
Interesting. And so Errol and Ashley, what are they doing these days?
I really don't know that much about what they do, because I used to be the chief cook and bottle washer, you know, the person that sends all the Christmas cards out. I'm that sort of person. But as time went by, I got very tired. And Ashley went to live in the Far East, and he contacted me maybe about a year or so ago. And Errol, I hear bits and pieces doing the band and stuff. But to be honest, I haven't worked with them for nearly 30 odd years. You know, it's a long, long time. I think Ashley was maybe 1990, 1991, and Errol was 1985, 86. So that's a long time. So, you know, it's we weren't joined at the hip. You know, we weren't real brothers. So, and I actually formed the group. You know, it was basically my solo career, and I decided to form a group because they'd lost the track that was going to be the hit, going to be the first single. and I didn't trust the record company. So I said, you know, I think I'm gonna form a group, so therefore it won't destroy my solo career. That's how it actually started. But you know,
what's interesting is a lot of the fans seem to single out Night Dubbing as one of your best albums, which of course is a remix album, but that's quite curious in that it was also at the very start of the remix album being a thing.
Well, yeah, it's 2 albums put together, and I was a little bit apprehensive, but it was Larry Levan who, at the time, he did this massive mix of changes. We were in what's the place called? Paradise Garage, which was one of the biggest clubs at the time in New York, and he did like a 45-minute version of it, of changes, and couldn't believe it. We were sitting there and just standing there, so I'm watching him just do his stuff, and it was amazing. And that, I think, kind of got the whole thing going about doing the dub album. I know the directors were talking about it, and Tony and Steve was talking, maybe we can do something, and they just went wild. Everybody went wild, and that's what it was. You know, playing the tapes and stuff like that. So in itself, it's become a classic album because it was one of the first. You know, after that, I think Human League, I think, did one, and the Thompson Twins did one, but we set the pace. Plus, prior to that, all the reggae artists were always doing dubs, you know, playing with the echoes and stuff, which people forget. So, you know, you have to hand it to, you know, all the different Jamaican Toastmasters and stuff, because they were the ones that set that pace, and then we just made it with a soul vibe.
And talking of one particular song that we mentioned from that period, if you were stranded on a desert island and you could only take one of these things with you, again, this is another slightly smash hits type question. If you could only choose one, would it be Sequins and Pearls or Lots of Pretty Girls?
Oh my God. Oh God. Sequins and Pearls. I need a good cook, so sequins. Lots of pretty girls. I need someone who could work. You need people that could work. Sequins and pearls will go very quickly.
And I also I notice your Good Vibes star behind you. How do you keep yourself in a positive frame of mind, especially in the current climate?
Yeah, it's not very easy, but for the last, say, nearly 5 years now, I've been doing Qigong every morning for 10 minutes. So it's a breathing exercise, a form of Tai Chi. Then I do stretching and I swim then afterwards, and I've made it a routine. So it keeps me balanced, and I can deal with confrontations and problems and issues. And, you know, you still have, oh my God, will this happen? But I'm thinking, you have this moment for today, but then tomorrow it will go. Or, you know, what you lose today you will get something back properly tomorrow. And, you know, even in lockdown, I was very busy. I was very, very busy. In actual fact, we recorded the Gorillaz track during the lockdown. We did the video. We did 4 shows, like a TV show. We did like it was a live broadcast of 4 different countries, 4 different areas around the world. And we then created the costume. I was very busy, and I did the album with Bill. So I think the more you know, I'm not being, you know, like I see, as I said, the reality situation happening. I set my own course. You know, I do my own style. I'm always looking out, seeing what's happening. And actually, there's a DJ guy I'm going to work with to do a mix of another artist which I produce, which is going to come out very, very soon. And I've also done a secret Christmas song, which we're going to probably just push out in the next couple of weeks. Which
it's no secret anymore.
It's not a secret anymore. But I was like, you know, I was not 100%. Actually, maybe I can play you a rough. Maybe have I got it here? Merry Christmas, one and all. Hang on the mistletoe, I'm gonna get to know you better this Christmas. That's what you're gonna get.
Wow, interesting. I like it. And a little touch of Barry White at the start there.
You know, sort of. I'm kind of like nervous about it because you're competing with a big Christmas market. I'm not actually competing it. I'm just gonna just put it out online. I just thought, you know what? And we just had an offer. Someone said, yeah, you know, if you want to put it out, we can do it for you. And I said, okay, it's different to the box set. And I just thought it could be quite a teaser. If I do a video, I may just do a very quick video if I see it get some attention or something like that. But I just got this very strange feeling. These things always not backfire. All of a sudden they do something where you at least expect it, and then you're thinking, oh my God, I got to learn the lyrics to it now. They want me to sing it.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, talking of singing, I mean, vocally, you sound exactly as you always did. You're very fortunate. I'd like to know how you've managed to keep your voice intact so well. I mean, without mentioning any names, there's certain white, you know, male rock vocalists that don't have a great deal of voice left, and they're still touring incessantly. But you're very lucky.
Well, you know, people have said that. I don't think about my voice now anymore because I'm just doing what I do. I know if I'm tired, then I can't do it, I need to rest. And like I drink, like in here, if I'm in front of the computer, especially, I'm drinking water consistently on the hour, because you know, it's one of those things. I still love my champagne, still love my red wine, but that's it. I don't do beers. I don't do. I've never smoked, and I've never done drugs.
Right.
Even though there was a period where it was all happening, and hey man, I just get pissed, and that was it. That was my equivalent. So that people saw me and thought, oh, he's probably the same as we were. No, I was pissed on champagne. That was it. But then, you know, I have a, you know, and now I'm, you know, we're much older, so now, you know, you try and balance it out and think, you know what, we need to dry out for a few days. We can't keep, you know, the body can't sustain that. And for me, it's very important that I don't let anyone down. I'm there for the shows. I want to make sure that we do the best show. I've got a great band. Mo Gaines is my musical director. He's the drummer in Simple Minds, and but he's now he's really great. And I've got a great team. Michael Timothy on keyboards. Ido Tavore is my tour manager. He's very, very good at what he does. My background vocalist, guitar, they're all very good. You know, Alexis on bass. You know, they're a really strong team of people around me, and with Archie and it's actually I always say one of the mottos, no man is an island. So it's important to have a good team of people around you when you're doing it, so they can think for you. So therefore, you just do what you need to do the best you can.
Yes, absolutely. And is there just to sum up, is there one song that you always wish you had written yourself?
No, not really. I'm proud of a lot of the songs that I have written. I've written quite a few. I'm proud of some of those that may have not been as so much successful, but to me, that I did a track called "The Truth," which is on the Retropia album. If you check that one out, and it's the lyrics are with my back against the wall, thought I lost it all. But my spirit inside kept on telling me, keep it strong. From day to day, I played the game. For a while, fooled around with fame, but it's better the devil you know than the one you may meet. I know we're here on earth for such a little time, but let's make it what we can. Deep inside, I know the best is yet to come. Let us throw away all our swings, because tomorrow is tomorrow after all. I forgot the lyric on it, but I'm proud of that song because I think I wrote that in 1991 or something like that. And I was going through quite a lot of emotional things because we lost our manager and we were changing and stuff. And I had to find spiritually something inside of me to bring myself to a good level. And through the song, through writing the song, you know, and I've always been that way. Even when I wrote Body Talk, I thought if I could just write one song that the whole world could be singing or dancing or moving to, I'd be happy. And we surpassed it. So, you know, every day is a blessing, and that's the way I take it.
Fantastic. Well, that's the perfect way to end it. Thank you so much, Lee. That was very enjoyable.
Thank you. And I will send you the recording.
Yeah, and thank you for the little previews. I loved it.
Good. I'm glad you like it. I'm
Have
very
a great day.
About the Christmas thing, but oh, hey.
I think it's a fantastic idea. If you don't do it, you'll probably regret it.
I know, but when I go to Paris on next week, then that'll be the deciding vote. But this morning I had a meeting about it, and they're ready to go with it. You know, it's just me, just down to me. So you know.
Of course. And if you get to the Riviera at any point in the future, do let me know.
Oh, I'm down there all the time. I mean, we're going to be touring in France all through the summer as well. So check the website or check Archie. He'll let you know. We'll be in Bordeaux definitely in February.
Oh, right.
Because that's not too far, I don't think, from you guys.
It's a few hours.
A few hours.
You forget France is 3 times the size of the UK.
I know, and that's one of the things, you know, and France is Benelux, it's Switzerland, it's Canada, it's Africa, it's South America. Its arms reach further. So anytime I do anything in France, especially now with social media, it goes all over those places, all those areas.
Yes.
So it's been really great for me, you know. I get so much, you know, people, oh, Leee John, you want to go? You know, I get a lot of that, which is different to the UK, not putting the UK down. I mean, they're rediscovering me now, I think. This is what happened with the 40th anniversary box set.
Yes.
And, oh, yes, can't forget, last thing is, we're doing a huge show in London, May the 20th at the Shepherd's Bush Empire 2023, or as I'm saying, 2020 Leee. And we'll be doing something special in Paris as well in June. And different countries as well, South Africa and all sorts of things. So check the website, www.leejohn.com. That's very important. So
absolutely. One funny little personal thing then, as we wrap up. My 2 best friends in the first couple of years of we call it high school now, don't we? Secondary school. They were both Black, Sean and Andrew. Andrew Thelwell. His 2 favorite bands of the early 80s were Lynx and Imagination.
Oh, fantastic.
If you could just say, give a shout out to Andrew Thirlwell, that would make his day.
Hi, Andrew Thirlwell. I'm glad you were a fan of us in the early 80s, and I hope you're going to continue to be a fan of Leee John and Imagination coming into 2023. Peace, love, and light.
Thank you so much, Leee.
Take care. All the best. God bless you. Have a great Christmas.
You too.
2023.
See you, man.